Hello. As we get together with this Wednesday, the fourth week of Lent, we celebrate the Feast of the Annunciation. In the midst of our many challenges that we're going through, many of which we could not have imagined and kind of wonder if we're going to make it, we celebrate the Feast of the God of Surprises, hoping that we're all well. One of the surprises, or at least one of the benefits, is that we have this technology to be able to stay in touch with each other and remind ourselves of how important it is to be with each other in spirit, for sure. And the God of Surprises is certainly part of the first reading from Isaiah, as Ahaz was not willing to imagine God in a different way than he had thought about. God just became weary of his closed mind and made the great prophecy that God would send God's self into the universe, born in humanity, becoming a living, breathing human being, to be born of a virgin. What could be more of a surprise than that? And as the Jesuit Greg Boyle would say, marinate your souls in that. And then St. Paul, at least in the letter to the Hebrews, it said that God was not looking for sacrifices and offerings, which was so much a part of the earlier way of worship among many. But what God was saying was, I long for your heart. As an example of that, I send my son, Jesus, who gave himself and who calls each one of us to do exactly the same thing, to give our heart to God and to one another, just as Jesus did. And so we have the responsorial psalm for today. Here I am, Lord, I come to do your will. Hopefully our prayer is as deep and genuine as Mary. I am the servant of the Lord, let it be done to me as you say. May we have the strength to do that. And so all of us are challenged by having a different, changing, unlimited image of God in our lives. Challenged to open our minds and our hearts, to open our souls to the wonders of the Lord and the presence of the Spirit in all, particularly when we face challenges and struggles in our lives. Many of you remember Father Bill Stencil, and he was thinking about Jack Shea, who wrote, get in the boat and row back from the shore, and you get a wide-angle view of where you just came from. As we sit in our own boats floating around, we can take a long look at where we've been and come up with many different thoughts and different reflections, many surprises from our God.